Okay, so we'll start with just taking a look at the case form in the edit view. So I'm in the Maker portal. And when we look at the case form here, we see that I actually have already embedded the quick view form and the form component control, as we were talking about. So I am going to go and show you how to put that form component control on here, though. But I did want to just point out that you typically would not put a quick view form and a form component control on one form because they basically are you're repeating what both forms are trying to give you, except for that one is just going to be read only and one is editable. So you have to just pick. Do you want to be able to edit it? If you do, then you need a form component. If you don't need to edit it, then all you need is a quick view form. So I'm going to leave it on there though, just so I can kind of demonstrate how they both work. Then the next thing we have to do before we actually put those that form component control on the case form is we need to create a new contact main form. So when you create a form, you have to pick what type of form it is. And so you want to make sure that you're picking the main form. And that's the only kind of form that will work with a component control, a form component control. And then also you'll see here that I went ahead and added these 3 fields, and this is very minimalistic as far as what I'm putting on this form, because you don't really want to clutter up your case form with things about the contact that we don't necessarily need. But really you can put just about anything you need on here, but in this scenario, this is all we need. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and the third thing is that once you've got your forms the way that you want, you've got your case form, you've got your contact form created, and it's embedded on your case form, then you need to make sure that you go into your model-driven app and make sure that the forms that you just worked with are enabled there. So for case forms, I'm actually using a form that's called case sample form right here. So it is up here in this app. If it wasn't up here, you would probably see it down in this app, not in this app, and you would just have to set it to active so that it would come up here. You need to do the same thing for your contacts. So you go to that contact form, that main contact form that we created. And in this case, it's called contact for case form. And it is in this app, but if it were not, you would need to add it. Then you would save and publish, and then you would actually be able to release it to the users. So I'm going to show you how this works. I'm sorry, I forgot to show you how to put the form on. I'm going to put the form component control on here, and then I'm going to show you how it works. So sorry about that. Yep, we do have this form component control on here already, but I'm going to show you how I did it. So I created this this section here that doesn't have anything in it, just added that. And then what I'm going to do is go over here to my navigational menu and go to components. And then from in here, I'm going to go down to input, and then I'm going to go to form. Okay, and here it's asking me for the lookup column that I want to use for this component. And in our scenario, we're going to be using the contact lookup. And it'll take just a few seconds before it gives you the next prompt. It's going to be asking us, okay, well, we know you want to use the contact. What contact form do you want to use? So here's what is the related form? And that one that I created is called the contact for case form. So I'm going to pick that. The only thing it'll allow you to choose there are main forms. So if you don't see the form that you're looking for, it's probably not a main form. All right, that's really all there is to configuring it. We're just going to click done. And you're going to see that it added it right here, right below the one that I already had here. And now this is in its own section, and you can see that we don't have any records showing, or sorry, any fields or anything showing up here right now. And that is normal for form component control. You can only see the fields once you have actually selected a contact on the actual case form. So I'll show you how that works. The only other thing I wanted to mention here is on the one that I had here already, I did not hide a label. I actually added a descriptive label here so that on the form you could tell what the form was for. And then this one that I just did, I did not, or I hid the label by default. So if you want a label, that you don't control that on the actual contact form, you control that in the case on the section. Okay, now let's go see how this works. So I'm just going to skip over here. I'm in my model-driven app, and I actually have opened up a sample case that I've already created, and I've actually already selected that this case is for a Bill Smith. So the contact's already selected. And if I scroll down here, I can see the first thing I see is the quick view form. Again, you won't have both of these forms, but I'm going to show you how they work together. We can see that he has email address and two phone numbers, so there's nothing missing. But perhaps I need to change one of the phone numbers, or maybe the email address is different. So I wouldn't be able to do that up here in the quick view form, but I can do that down here in the form component control. So if Bill Smith's email has maybe gov was not right and it's supposed to be com, I can just change that right there. Um, I could do something like, oh, he says, hey, I don't have a business phone anymore, just my mobile. I could actually delete this, just leave it blank. Okay. And then the important thing to understand is that the changes you just made to this contact in this contact form has not been saved to the contact yet, has not been written to your database until you actually save this case. So I'm just going to click save up here. Okay, now it is saved to the contact form. And one way to kind of tell that it's saved at the contact form is because it actually updated the information that this quick view form is showing you, which is read only, but you can see that it now reflects those changes that we just made in the form component control. The only other thing I want to show you in here is how it looks if you don't have a contact selected. So if you're creating a brand new case and maybe you just haven't gotten the contact uh, selected in there yet. I just wanted to kind of show you that the way these two work, when you don't have the contact, the quick view form won't show at all. It just basically hides unless it knows what contact you're talking about. But the form component control, again, does show up and gives you this message that says source record not selected. But as soon as you actually select another record or a record, I'm just going to pick somebody different, it will populate and show the proper forms.